On the one hand, we have this. On the other hand, we have this. Let's talk about that, shall we? You've probably clicked on this video since you've probably been in my shoes. You get immersed into the story, sitting on the edge of your seat, just to get dragged out by the sheer amount of text or dialogue thrown at you that has little to no value to the grand scheme of things. Genshin Impact has 3 kinds of quests. Well, 4 actually, but let's be real, the dailies, we just do them for the primos, let's not kid ourselves here. These 3 types of quests are World Quests, Character Quests, and Archon Quests. Genshin Impact has some very interesting story parts, and it's most, if not all, tied to the Archon Quest, which is the game's MSQ. Granted, there are parts in the Archon Quest where I'd like to saw my left foot off just by the sheer boringness of the storytelling because it's so damn slow. In this case, I'm talking about the Interlude Chapter 2 quest. It was very interesting, but god, it took so long. I always wondered why it was that I found myself skipping so many scenes and still grasping the story, is that the way it's told is just plain stupid. I'll show you, plain and simple, why I skip so many story parts.
Hey, Tighnari!
What's going on?
We just discovered a withering zone.
The withering is back? And the radius of the contamination?
Sorry, I couldn't get a clear enough view to tell.
No one in our patrol team had a vision, and it appeared to still be spreading, so we didn't risk getting any closer.
You two have only just arrived in Sumeru. You're still unfamiliar with many things in these lands. There's a unique type of anomaly that occurs in the Sumeru rainforest. It's called the withering. The affected areas not only cause nearby vegetation to wither, but it's also lethal to wildlife and even people. If you don't carry a vision, then you should think twice before approaching such places.
As Amir said, only someone with a vision, that is, the power to manipulate elements, will be able to resist the withering's corrosive effects for a time.
That's right. If any of the forest rangers without a vision come across a withering zone, we first make a record of the location and then have a ranger with the proper abilities deal with it, like Tighnari here. Only someone with a vision can venture within a withering zone and find a way to deal with it. But you don't seem to carry a vision.
Don't worry, he may not have a vision, but he's a real pro at using the power of the elements.
Now, if you're not agitated as me by watching this, then you're probably the target audience for this, which is okay. I don't mean to try and exclude anybody, I'm just trying to convey my point here. So what agitated me is the fact that during the conversation of these 2 randos and Tighnari, or Tighnari, however you're supposed to pronounce it, they mentioned the withering and needed a vision to be able to withstand the withering. Then they turn toward you and promptly tell it again while repeating needing a vision 3 more times. I'm sorry, I'm no longer a first grader. I can understand things out of the context that's been provided to me. They could have handled it so much better to keep you immersed and well fed of information if those 2 randos just talked to Tighnari as they did, and then Tighnari turns to you and says it's dangerous, and Paimon tells him the traveler can handle himself without a vision, you know, just like it happened. And then, when you're walking, Tighnari just explains it a bit more while on their way to the withering. It keeps the pace and you're better informed. When you're in these unrendered cutscenes, these characters only have about 7 or 8 emotes where they just cycle through. Their mouths only open once or twice for the complete duration of their sentence, and they just look plain dead inside when you're talking to them. So, to enter these withering zones, you will need a vision. Without a vision, you cannot enter the withering zones or you'll get hurt. So, to enter these withering zones, I need a vision. Is that what you're telling me? I guess I will need a vision to enter these withering zones. There was one Archon quest that did a great job. It was the one with the Samsara. I will be talking about some story parts here, so if you're not caught up with the 3.0 quests, then please skip to the timestamp on the screen here, or go to the timestamps below in the player thingy. Bye. So the deal with these quests is that you're in an endless loop. You start the first day with a series of things that you do, and you go to sleep. Then on the second day you basically do the same thing and you're like, what the fuck, I already did this. Then your character starts to see things, and on the subsequent days you either do one thing from the previous day or it's screenshots with text on them. Then you need to uncover the truth about what's happening and stuff, and this quest had me on the edge of my seat the whole time and I loved every second of it. The Archon quests from Mondstadt and Liyue were pretty basic, anyone can tell you that. When Inazuma came, it was pretty cool to be in a Japanese setting and the visuals were awesome as hell. But the main quest was just about an oppressed people that were trying to break free and you helping them. It was nothing special. But the Sumeru storyline is amazing. I truly mean this. We have Ocean's 11 meets The Matrix meets Doctor Strange. Balladeer.
I've come to bargain.
If they adjust their way of storytelling just a little bit to incorporate more into gameplay, like my example earlier, it will be a much better experience. Then we have character story quests. God, these are so mundane that you would only not skip these voice lines when you actually like the character and try to find some sort of bond with it. They don't have a connection with the overarching plot or over Archon plot. Now, where was I? They don't have a connection with the overarching. So why even bother? Oh yeah, 60 primos and some leveling materials. Hell yeah! I'm not saying all of them are useless. I liked a couple of them, like Albedo's for example. He's very mysterious and you get that sense from doing his storyline. He was also connected to Dragonspine, so it made a little more sense doing his quest. But Eula's quest, come on. I will get my revenge. I'm sorry for all you Eula fans out there. She is hot, I give you that. But the quest was so boring. I like the ones from the Archons though. Venti's, Zhongli's, and Raiden Shogun's, because they do have meaning. The Archons have a connection to the main storyline, and in these quests you get to know them and their motives around the Gnosis and such. They're even connected to upcoming weekly world bosses. What I'm not interested in is talking to some obscure personas that are about to get married and have to talk to a main character to get things done. I'm not about that. Most of the time I'm rolling my eyes and pressing X when I'm on PlayStation or ramming on my spacebar to skip the dialogue as fast as possible, just so I can see some well-deserved rendered cutscene. Now these are almost always worth the trouble. I really like Ito, but I really didn't like doing his quest. I didn't want to search for some Oni Kabutos, but I was interested in the blue and red Oni thing. Then the cutscene came and BAM! Captivated. It should be different though. Why can't these characters have a connection to the main story plot somehow? It would be much like the Avengers. You would first like to have seen the movies about the individual superheroes before the movie about them getting assembled, right? Lastly, there are world quests. And most, if not all of them, are so gosh darn useless and unvoiced that I can't even fathom anyone trying to read any text. I just spam the next button so I can read the quest line on what to do and just do it. Give me my 20 primos, you Granted, for this as well, there are also interesting world quests to be found. Some found the Aranara quest interesting while I wanted to saw my other foot off, but the world quest in Inazuma where you free the Land of Mist was interesting enough for me to only skip like 9 out of 10 scenes. There are even world quests that will literally open up a new piece of land. I mean, come on, make these dialogues and voiceless text a bit more bearable if you're locking content behind them. I get that we need to feel connected to this world, but this ain't it, chief. I only recently finished the MSQ, so I haven't been invested in Sumeru's world quests. But if you looked at the desert, you can see so many interesting places, and none of them are featured in the main story quest. So they're bound to come up in a world quest, and I'm dreading they fill it with voiceless text that will have me saw my cat's paw off. No animals were hurt filming this video. What I'm saying is that there are pieces in this world added to have you invested in the actual world, but I find it lacking the power to fully captivate you. This is $1 billion video game. Maybe invest a little more in additional voice actors for minor roles to fill these silent gaps in important world quests. It might just make the trip a bit more bearable. Anyway, thank you for listening to my TED Talk about Genshin storytelling and their lack of. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, you can leave a like to show your appreciation. Subscribing would help me out a lot as well so I can keep making videos like this. If you want to share some of your experience with me and others in the comment section, please leave a comment of your own as well. I'm going to call a doctor now for some biomechanic legs, and I'll see you in the next one.
Well, let's not break out the joy lube just yet. Check this out!